Hello, Matt Davis here with more homework quiz help. This one comes from section 3.2. A random sample of 22 people who hiked down and back out of the Grand Canyon was taken. The round-trip hiking times in hours for those sampled are shown below. Find the third quartile and write your answer using 2 decimal places. All right, so the first thing, in the interest of giving help rather than answers, we're going to get rid of one of these times. So I'm going to get rid of this 12.84 in the corner. So now we're going to do this problem instead of with 22 people, we're going to have 21. So we'll do all the work with that 21 in mind and without that last hiking time added in. All right, so the first thing you need to do if you're going to find quartiles or median, any of those things, is you need to put your data in order. And for a data set like this, it can be a little bit messy by hand. So what we're going to do is use the calculator to help us. So let's go ahead and switch over to the calculator for a moment. And go to the list area, so that's going to be stat and edit. So I hit the stat key and then choose the edit option. And I've already got some data entered in there. We just need to add one more value to have it complete. I did want to show you what to do if there's data in the way and you need to clear it. So I have just kind of a random number here in L2. If I want to clear that, I use the arrow keys to move around and highlight the list heading, L2. Press 2 keys, clear, which doesn't seem to do anything, and then enter, which completes the job. So highlight the list total and then clear and enter. List 1 I didn't want to clear because that is this data set. So I just went through and I entered it all in there, or at least almost all of it. I still have the last number to go, which is 11.77. So once you have that data once that data entered into the calculator, you can use the calculator to sort it. So what you want to do is press the stat key again, and then you'll see the second option there is sort A, which stands for sort ascending, which is from small to large. So I'm going to press that. It goes back to the home screen and says sort A, open parentheses. Now what I want to do is tell it what list. So my data is in L1, and if you look above the 1 key, there's an orange L1. So to activate that orange part, I hit the orange second key and then L1. They did an open parentheses, so I'll do a closed one. So we have sort ascending the stuff in L1, and it just says done. Doesn't actually show you anything, but if you go back and look at the list by choosing stat and edit, you'll see that it is in order now. So if you scroll through that list, everything is in order, and we'll take advantage of that in a moment. So let's go back to the quiz and start doing some work, and then we'll come back and take advantage of that sorted list momentarily. All right, so just a reminder of what I did there to sort the list. I hit the stat key, and then I chose the sort A option. And then I told it what list I wanted sorted, which was L1. And that took care of the sorting for me. So they want us to find the third quartile. So that would be Q3. So we're looking for Q3. But to find Q3, first you have to figure out where Q3 is located. So we're going to calculate the location of Q3. So location of Q3 equals, and the formula for that is you take 3/4, because we're doing the third quartile. If it was the first quartile, we would do 1/4, times the number of data values plus 1. We have 21 data values and then plus 1. And then we calculate that. So 3/4 of 21 plus 1. Let's do that together on the calculator real quick. So gotta clear that and exit out of here. I don't want to mess up that list, so I'm going to retype that number just to make sure it's still there. So second quit, and then I want to do 3/4 times 21 plus 1. The parentheses there are key. If you don't have that, it's going to do 3/4 of 21 and then add 1. We want it to add 1 to 21 and then do 3/4 of that. So having the parentheses is key to getting the correct location. So I get 16.5. So let's go back and deal with that. So 16.5. So that is not the third quartile. That is where the third quartile is located. So from that, we will get Q3, but that is not Q3. So what do? Because I got a decimal number, I'm going to go find the two whole numbers that surround it. So 16.5 is in between 16 and 17. So I'm going to go find the 16th and 17th values in the ordered data list. So if I go back into stat and edit, I have my ordered data list. And as you have one highlighted, it tells you which one it is. First of all, in this calculator, it shows you off to the side. That's row 6. But down below, it also says L1 parentheses 6. So it's saying the sixth number in L1 is 9.91. We don't want the sixth number. We want the 16th number, 11.78, and the 17th number, 12.68. So 16th number in the list, 17th number in the list. I'm picking that because my location was in between those two, 16.5. And then I want to average those two. So I'm going to exit out of here using second and quit. And to average those two values, I'm going to do open parentheses 11.78 plus 12.68 close parentheses divided by 2. The parentheses are essential to make sure the addition happens before the division. If we don't put the parentheses, it'll take 12.68 divided by 2, take that answer and add it to 11, which will not be what we want. So what do we get there? 12.23. Let's go write all that down. So to get Q3, we took the 16th number, 11.78. We added the 17th number, 12.68. We divided that by 2, and we ended up with 12.23. I didn't put parentheses here because you don't actually need it when you're writing it this way, but the calculator can't visually see what your numerator is. So when you're in the calculator, you put these parentheses around the numerator to kind of help the calculator see that. All right, that is Q3. So we have finished the problem. We can write that answer in here, and then just a few things to discuss along the way. So if you're going to do quartiles, your data has to be in order. You have to remember the parentheses on the calculator that I just showed you. But as long as you're thinking about it, I think you're going to be fine. So let me show you what I mean by that. If we go back to the calculator and we take 11.78 plus 12.68 divided by 2, that's a mistake because I forgot the parentheses. But I need to be thinking about what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to get a third quartile that's in between 11.78 and 12.68. When I press enter, I get a number that is not in between 11.78 and 12.68. So that should alert me to the idea that something went wrong, and then hopefully I'd remember to go back and put those parentheses around the top. Notice 12.23 is in between 11.78 and 12.68. So as long as you're thinking about what kind of number you're going to get, if you forgot the parentheses, you should be able to catch that mistake. Another thing I kind of emphasized in words, but I want to emphasize here too with the highlighter, is the location of Q3 is 16.5, but that is not Q3. So because that's not Q3, I didn't put an equal sign here. I put an arrow, which reads as therefore. I'm transitioning from one calculation to another. I calculated where Q3 is going to be, and now I'm saying therefore Q3 ends up being this other number, 12.23, and notice I changed the label to be Q3 once I switched from location to the actual quartile. So be careful with that sort of stuff. Q1 is very similar except for you do a 1/4. And when you have your data set of 22, you won't get a 0.5, but if you get any decimal that's in between two whole numbers, you still use those two whole numbers. So just to kind of remind you of what we did there, because we had a 16.75, we used the 16th number, and we used the 17th number. And I did that because I had 16.5, but I wouldn't do anything different if I got 16.25 or 16.75. Because that would be in between 16 and 17, I would still average the 16th and 17th numbers. One other thing just to throw out there to you, I've been told there's 8 different ways to calculate quartiles, and they can all produce slightly different answers. We're going to just do one, and we're going to agree to that one, and we're going to all do that, and it's the only one that we're going to mark right. So if you use some other thing you found out there on YouTube or something, you might get a different answer or tell you to handle different decimals a different way. This one is, I think, one of the simpler ways to handle it that still has a lot of accuracy and common sense to it. So this is the way we're going to do it. So be aware of that when it's a decimal. You find the two values that surround that decimal, the two locations that surround that decimal, and you average the two numbers that are in those locations. All right, I hope this helped you with any struggles you were having on this problem. Good luck to you as you head back to the quiz.